Good morning. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanisha. I'm also known as ER Nurse 86 over on Twitter. And in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to the accountability video that Shane Dawson posted last night. I apologize in advance for my appearance. As you guys can probably tell, I'm still in my scrubs. I did work a 12-hour shift in the ER last night and I am exhausted, but I really wanted to give my thoughts on everything. So first, I'm gonna discuss the few things that I feel that Shane got right, and then I'm going to be giving my critiques on the things that I feel he either missed the mark on or just failed to discuss at all. So there were three things that I think Shane did well. The first was that he said that he wants to be held accountable. And I think that's awesome because that's the first step. He acknowledges that what he said and did in the past was wrong, and that he was trying to run away from and hide from his scandals. He also acknowledges that his previous apologies were bad, and that his motivation for giving those apologies was to basically just make everything go away. Which I think is extremely self-aware, and that's a good thing that he's able to accept and realize that that's what he was doing. But the rest of the things that I noticed about the video are all bad. So first, I'm going to talk about the racism aspect that he discussed in his video. I don't understand why it took 10 plus years for Shane to realize that racist jokes are not funny. They're not funny now. They weren't funny 10 years ago. They weren't funny 20, 30 years ago. They've never been funny. I want to know why it took him so long to acknowledge it when he says that his friends have been talking about their experiences with racism and microaggressions for years. They've been talking about it for years, but he just now started listening to them. What kind of friend does that make him if he's not hearing and trying to understand the lived experiences that his friends of color are sharing with him? To me, that says that maybe he's not quite as good a friend as he thinks he is. And he's got quite a bit of work to do in that regard still. Oh, and for the record, Mexican is not a race. It's not a race. I noticed that Shane gave the same tired excuses and explanations for his toxic behavior that Jeffree Star was giving in his racism apology from 2 years ago. I was in a dark place. I had a rough childhood. I was depressed. I was angry. I was just lashing out. I mean, lots of us had rough upbringings. Lots of us have battled with depression and anger, but not all of us turned out to be racist assholes. So, one thing that I really feel that Shane should have taken the opportunity to discuss, I think he should have addressed his supporters for not only enabling but excusing his toxic behavior over all these years. And you guys know the supporters that I'm talking about, the same ones that say, oh, it was 10 years ago, it's in the past, he's not the same person anymore, oh, that's just how things were back then. Now, if you guys look over on my Twitter, you will see that my pinned tweet talks about how I hate when somebody does something that's really messed up, something they should definitely apologize for, but their friends or supporters tell them that they don't have to, because it prevents them from holding themselves accountable, and in turn it blocks their growth. How do you expect somebody to learn and grow from their mistakes when you won't even acknowledge or let them acknowledge the fact that they made a mistake in the first place? You guys say that you care about Shane, that you want to see him prosper, that you want to see him learn and grow as a person, but how is what you're doing enabling his toxic behavior? How is that helpful to him? It's not. Now, moving on along to the black women that he harmed. I was really disappointed that Shane did not acknowledge the awkward position that he put Shauna Malcolm in by having her in skits where he was using the N-word with a hard R. I think that he could have potentially traumatized this woman, all for clicks and views, for laughs, and for money. I mean, he did gain money off of his ad revenue on these videos, right? So essentially he is monetizing black pain, and there was no apology to Shauna, and that was disappointing. I think that Shane's lying about the whole Francesca situation. He says that he wasn't talking about her in that podcast, in which he very graphically and very disturbingly described the ways in which he wanted to torture and kill this woman. Now, the timeline just does not add up for it to be the explanation that he's trying to get us to accept. And Shauna says that there was another podcast that he did around the same time in which he did actually name her specifically. So I'm more inclined to believe her than I am to believe him. And I think that it was great that he apologized to Francesca, but he didn't really take full ownership of the situation or his behavior. And he completely failed to mention how he emotionally manipulated her by getting on a Skype call and utilizing his white tears, asking her over and over again, "Do you hate me? Do you hate me? Do you hate me?" to basically guilt trip her into forgiving him. And that's disgusting. I mean, you're the one that's in the wrong, but you are utilizing her guilt and your tears and your sadness in order to flip the script on her and make it seem like somehow you are the aggrieved person. That's gaslighting 101, and it's awful. I mean, I don't even know if he realizes that's what he was doing, but that's my takeaway from that situation. One thing that is major that Shane failed to discuss that he absolutely should have is he should have acknowledged his privilege as a cisgendered white man. If it had been me or another person of color or even a white woman who had done half the horrible, disgusting things that Shane Dawson did, our career would have been over like that. Done. Nobody else would have been given chance after chance after chance the way that he has. And I think that he needs to acknowledge that, and he needs to speak on that. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the way that he discussed Dramageddon 2 and the way that he minimized his role in what happened to James Charles back then. He said that it was terrible the way the internet ganged up on James Charles, and he's like distancing himself from it like he had no role in it at all. I know you don't think we forgot that you put in your trailer for your docuseries covering your collaboration with Jeffrey, you put Dramageddon 2 in the trailer. You are utilizing James's pain for clicks and views and to make money. You are feeding into the rumor mill that James was this horrible person who's doing these disgusting things and victimizing people. None of it was true. And I just don't understand why he didn't take full ownership of that. It wasn't just Jeffrey. It wasn't just Tati. Shane played a role in that too. He was a co-conspirator, in my opinion. So while it was great that he apologized to James, it kind of felt hollow to me because he didn't fully acknowledge the role that he played in that takedown attempt on him. So that's pretty much all the thoughts that I had on his video. And in case I hadn't made it clear, I was not impressed with his video. I thought it was complete bullshit. To me, it felt like he was saying the words that he thinks people want to hear, but it didn't really feel like there was much conviction or sincerity behind them. So I'm not really feeling it. He says that he's a changed person and that he's learned a lot from that and he's a better person now, but we'll have to wait and see what his actions show, because actions speak louder than words. And as my good sis Sharita always says, the best apology is changed behavior. An apology without changed behavior is just manipulation. So we'll see what Shane's doing in the months to come, or if he's still on this bullshit. But that's pretty much all I've got for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate your support. If you guys have anything to add, any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.